are watching the show for action takers, Democracy in Action. Our next segment is called Reflections on Democracy, an opportunity for us to capture the stories of young activists who make radical contributions to our society. Stories of veteran campaigners who carry the spirit of true freedom fighters. Stories of communities and cultures who offer alternative forms of leadership and governance. Today, we follow the story of Imraahn Mukadaam from Elsie's River, a consumer rights and trade union activist with a rich history, a man who took on the bread cartels of South Africa and won.
We have this notion that power is outside of us, but the real power lies within us. The power starts with me. The power to change conditions, to challenge the status quo starts with individuals. And it starts with individuals identifying issues that bugs them, identifying issues that they want to address, and then mobilizing other individuals who have similar concerns, and then coming together and challenging the status quo. And that is where the real power lies. That's where democracy comes from. My name is Imraahn Mukadaam. I'm originally from a township called Bellar, but I grew up mostly in Elsie's River. I grew up in the 80s, very active, involved in a lot of youth movements and in activism. It all started basically for me in 1976 with the Soweto uprising. One of our neighbors' son, Rizwan Yassin, was shot and killed in 1976. And it was like very real to me that somebody that I knew very closely had actually sacrificed his life. He was killed in a protest action. And from there I became politically aware. You don't normally choose to be an activist. Your environment and your situation instills in you activism. So it's something that when you witness the injustice, when you live the injustice, you have the human reaction to want to change the condition. And I think that's what drives me. And also, one of my passions is consumer activism. So I always look at things from a consumer transactional relationship point of view. And the way that I look at specifically politics is it's like choosing between Nando's, Kentucky and Chicken Licken. So you basically have a choice in which flavor you like. In the same way, as a consumer and as a customer, you have through your vote, you have purchased the power to influence. The same way that you would go into Pick n Pay and demand something, a service, and pay for it, similarly, in a democracy, you are actually paying for the services through the taxes you're paying. So you don't need to be satisfied with second-class service. You demand the best service possible for the price that you're paying. And even if you're poor, you're still paying tax. Yes. I've always been involved in campaigns and involved in activism. One of the campaigns, or the one that I'm renowned for, is actually the bread price fixing debacle, where I work as a bread distributor, and I uncovered a complot by big bakeries to fix the price of bread and to demarcate areas. So they basically contravened the Competition Act, and I reported them to the Competition Commission. And out of that inquiry, 4 major bakeries were implicated. 3 of them paid fines, the highest being Pioneer, who paid almost R1 billion. Tiger Brands paid 99 million, and then Food Corp paid 45 million. The company that came off scot-free was Premier Foods, because they sort of turned state witness. The challenge for veterans like me that come from the 80s is to transfer the activism to young people, to get them to want to make a difference and to get them to be involved in the issues that affect them directly. We're struggling for a better future for our children and our grandchildren. So we're struggling for a better world, and we have an obligation to make the difference now so that our children can benefit later. Similarly, our founding fathers had the same responsibility. So the struggle continues.
Mr. Mukadaam, consumer rights activist. All the years he was known for his fighting for our community, and he will speak in that. Then we have John on the other side. He won't be the second speaker. I'm just coming down the column there. John worked for the Department of Safety. So he will speak on how this impacts our community socially.
Right now we are at a meeting where we're discussing the increase in water and sanitation and rates by the City of Cape Town. So we are going to tackle that as well as being an unjust and unfair imposition of restrictive tariffs on poor communities.
We also challenged them on day zero. We said, where did you come with this day zero? How did you calculate it? So they delayed here and there, and then eventually they brought the formula. We looked at the formula and we said, no, but that's a fake. It's a fake. Why? Because they assume from November up to day zero, it's not going to rain.
Most of the people that fought for justice starts with a handful of people. So die handsiepel wat hier is een handsiepel wat gaan 'n groot difference maak. Let's believe in that. It only takes one of us to make the change. It always starts with me.
Inspirational. That was Boeta Imraahn Mukadaam and his reflections on democracy. When we return, we'll look into the burning issues in our community and explore 20 years of democracy, or democracy through music.